By the end of this video, you're going to know how to source qualified leads so that you can land new clients, grow your business, and make more money. Hey, welcome back. Please don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe to my channel. Sourcing leads. If you have an agency and you want to land new clients, you have to know how to source leads. That's where it all starts. Specifically, you're looking for B2B leads, business to business. If you've got an agency, you're offering your services to other businesses, B2B. First, I'm going to talk about the concrete steps that you're going to take to source B2B leads on LinkedIn. But after that, there's a second really important step that's going to make a huge difference. So make sure you stay with me till the end because you're going to need to know about that part. LinkedIn, it's so powerful because it affords you an opportunity to connect with an individual, and that's what makes such a huge difference when you source leads using that platform. As a comparison, imagine sending a cold email to a generic info@ or support@ email address for your lead. Let me tell you what's going to happen. Nothing's going to happen. When you send an email to info@ or something like that, you're either going to be ignored or you're going to get what is one of my personal favorites. The person responding is going to say, "Thank you for reaching out. I've forwarded your information to the correct department, and if they're interested, they will reach out." No, that's not how we do it. You want to be in control of this. That's why we source B2B leads on LinkedIn. Keep all of this in mind that when you're sourcing leads on LinkedIn, you're looking for a human being, an individual, not just a company. Here's how you do it. First, you're going to go up to the search bar on LinkedIn because the platform is a search engine like Google, a much smaller version, but similar concept, and you are going to search your niche. For instance, when I was first starting out, it's still one of my niches, I create blog content and do digital marketing for brands in the fitness industry. So I might go on LinkedIn and search fitness. Then what you're going to do is filter those results by companies. You want to do this, you want to filter the results because if you don't, LinkedIn is going to show you a whole mess of information that's not really going to help you in narrowing down leads. Search your niche, filter by companies. Then LinkedIn is going to show you a list of related companies. You're going to start looking through those companies one by one. And when you go to their individual page, you'll see towards the top right of the screen, it will have a link that will take you to all of the employees of that company. So if there's an employee working for that company that's on LinkedIn and has claimed that business as their employer, they're going to show up on that list. Click on the employees, and then you're going to want to start looking at each of their individual roles within the company. This is important because if you are a writer like me, you don't want to contact somebody in the sales department. They're not going to have anything to do with the blog. I want to find someone who works in the department of either content, or if they don't have a designated content department, I look at their marketing department. So I will look for a director of content, a blog manager, and if I can't find something super specific to the blog, then I'll go to like a director of marketing or a social media manager. Typically, because social media and blogging usually work together, those two departments, the social media team will be able to point me in the right direction. Once you find the individual human being that you're going to connect with and reach out to, that is your lead. The company is not your lead. The employee within the company is your lead. So, quick recap of this first part of the process. Search your niche, filter by companies, look at the employees, and find an individual within the appropriate department. That is the first step to sourcing B2B leads using LinkedIn. The second part that I mentioned earlier that's super important, it's not just about finding a name. You also have to qualify your leads. Qualifying your leads means that you are looking for specific traits that indicate that you have a good chance of landing them. Let me give you an example of what happens when you don't qualify your leads, because I messed this up horribly. When I was first starting cold emailing, and by the way, I know I've mentioned cold emailing a few times. I've got a video on that, and I'm going to drop the link in the description box below. Okay, so anyway, when I was first cold emailing, because as I mentioned, my niche was fitness, the first idea that I had that I thought was brilliant was I'm going to cold email every single CrossFit gym I can track down, because there are many, many thousands. And I was like, oh man, I'm gonna be so rich. I didn't close a single CrossFit gym, and I kept trying and trying and trying, and I was spending all this time, like hours, sending them these beautiful free audits that I was creating. By the way, I've blogged about why I will no longer do free audits. I will drop that link in the description box. I was putting so much time into it, and I wasn't closing a single CrossFit gym, and I couldn't figure out why. So I eventually point blank asked like 3 or 4 owners of CrossFit gyms. I was like, why aren't you guys hiring me? And they all told me the same thing. They couldn't afford it. And not only could they not afford it, they weren't interested in it in the first place. A lot of them didn't have blogs, and the ones that did have blogs, they were using it to post their daily workouts. Content, SEO, content marketing wasn't even on their radar. And honestly, the odds that I was going to convince them that they needed it were slim to none. And even if I did, they couldn't afford me anyway. If I had spent more time up front qualifying my leads, I would have saved myself weeks of cold emailing gyms that I was never going to close. This is why you want to qualify your leads. So let's talk about how you can do that. There are 2 steps, 2 things you need to look for. The first thing you need to look for is that you want to ask yourself, are they interested in and open to my services? For example, if a business doesn't have a blog, period, on their website, I don't cold email them. And it's because I don't want to have to deal with the hurdle of convincing them of why they need a blog in the first place. I don't want to have to deal with their web team getting a blog set up in the technical sense. I don't want to wait that long to start working and start making money. If they don't have a blog, period, then that to me is an indication that they're not interested enough. So I don't cold email them. Something else to look for, and this is good for I feel like a lot of creative freelancers, writers, social media managers. If you go to their social media pages and they exist but they're dead, like no one's posted on them in years, that to me, I've learned is an indication that digital marketing is just not on their radar. It should be, but it's not. They haven't taken the steps necessary to post any sort of content. And again, like I said a moment ago, I don't want that responsibility of having to fight tooth and nail to convince them why digital marketing, why blogging is so important. That's the first thing you need to look for. Do I think this lead is interested in my services? The second thing you need to look for, can they afford me? Can you ever know for sure whether a lead's going to have the money to pay you for your service? No. You might be dealing with $1 million company, but if the specific department you're working within, whether it's content or social or graphics or whatever, if that department doesn't have the funding, the budget they need to pay you, it doesn't really matter how much money the company makes. That being said, if you've got a company making millions, and then you've got a CrossFit gym that can barely make ends meet month to month, that right there, who's likelier to hire you? Obviously the $1 million company. There are a few ways you can see, what kind of money a company is dealing with. Sometimes it's public information. If it's not, if you can't track down numbers, then something else you can do is go to their website, go to their social media pages. What do you see? Is it quality? Is their website user-friendly? Is it well built out? Does it look nice? Does it function well? Their social media pages. Can you tell that they're taking steps to try to post quality content? Essentially, if you can see that there's effort behind things like their site and their social media, that means that there's someone there, being paid to manage them. If you go to, a lead's website and it's awful, and it looks like, a 12-year-old built it using his feet, then don't bother reaching out to them, because that's not a good indication that they've got money to spend. I don't even know why I just said that. So, to wrap up that part, when you're qualifying your leads, look for 2 things. Do you believe they are interested in your services? And do you believe they can afford your services? If the answer is yes to both of those questions, take the lead that you just sourced, start talking to them. Send them a message on LinkedIn, or ask if they have an email address where you can contact them instead. You better not be pooping over there. Sorry, that was my dog. If the answer is no to both of those questions, then I move on. It's not worth spending time cold emailing them. If you believe that they are interested, but you're not sure that they have the money, email them. You can try to negotiate when it comes to the numbers later on, but it's still worth sending them a message. If you don't think they're interested, even if it seems like they have the money, that one I could see going either way. Does it hurt to reach out? No, do it anyway. But if it just seems like the service that you want to pitch them is so not even anywhere in their brain, then honestly, it might very well be a waste of your time. And over time, as you continue sourcing leads and cold emailing, you're going to find patterns within your niche. For instance, I don't even bother reaching out to CrossFit gyms anymore. In fact, ironically, for fitness being one of my main niches, I don't reach out to a lot of gyms in general. I have a few that I landed kind of like by referral, or I know them indirectly, but small local gyms I have found don't typically have the money that I want to get paid, and the bigger gyms, like big chains, they've got in-house teams. They're not usually going to outsource to me. So I've got plenty of brands within the fitness niche, the fitness industry, but ironically, not a ton of gyms, which is so the opposite of what I was going for when I was first cold emailing. And that is why sourcing and qualifying your leads is so important. If you follow these steps, these guidelines that I've outlined in this video, you are going to ultimately, in the long run, not only save yourself a ton of time, but you're going to find that your close rate goes way up. Is this a few extra minutes you have to spend before you start sending messages or cold emails? Yes. Is it going to save you a ton of time in the future? Yes. Is it going to increase your success rate? Yes. The reason I can send 10 messages or 10 cold emails and close 1 or 2 of those clients is because I take a few extra minutes to do everything that I talked about in this video. Otherwise, you're kind of just, shooting in the dark. You should not be cold emailing or messaging everyone and anyone. You're trying to find your target audience. All right, that's it. That is how you can start to source B2B leads on LinkedIn. That's how you can qualify your leads. And these are the first steps I take before I start sending cold emails, which, as I've talked about before, has been so pivotal, crucial in scaling my agency to 5 figures a month. A lot of you have asked exactly what I say in my cold emails, so I decided to put my 5 most powerful cold email templates in one download. I'm going to drop the links to that download in the description box. They're available for you online anytime. Anyone can grab them. All you have to do is copy paste them and plug in your own details, and you can start sending cold emails exactly like I do. Thanks for sticking with me through the whole video. If you haven't already, please give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. And let's get to know each other a little bit more. Say hi in the comments, tell me what your niche is, and if you're having one big problem that's stopping you from growing your agency, tell me what it is, and if I can help you, I always will. See you next time.